your city simulator should not have a potential where there can be a bug where you are frequently looking at children without pants.
Oh my god, right? I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Oof.
Yeah.
Wow, what a way to open a podcast. Would you like to hear more about that conversation? Well, head over to our Patreon. You can find all that and more. That one is about 12 minutes of us kind of riffing about City Skylines 2 with Do Not Eat here. So if that interests you, link in the description. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the episode.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
Is there anything funny enough for me to have a cold open there? I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'll
probably figure it out. Yeah.
Something, tons of drugs and meth in the Central Valley, right?
Yes.
That'll be the cold open. Okay.
That's how they kept data out of the
out of the mission, out of the episode.
The mission, yeah. Yeah.
It's a good thing we couldn't afford data for this episode.
We couldn't afford data for this episode. He's charging too much.
Yeah,
Still at home on the Roomba charger.
He's nursing a hemorrhoid, so he has to just he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill on the bridge for a little while. I'm gonna be sitting kind of weird.
So he talks about how he's fully functional in that he can get hemorrhoids. This seems like a flaw to me.
And there it is. Welcome to Left Trek, your leftist Star Trek podcast. I am Eric. I am an android that can get hemorrhoids. We are joined by pardon me. I'm joined by Zots.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zots. I am a reluctant. No, I got nothing. This I'm just
reluctant bottom Zots.
Yeah, reluctant bottom. Reluctant.
And by bottom we mean being the recipient of a blood transfusion.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah. I have magic blood that could cure somebody, and I don't wanna.
She's not gonna use it.
I don't blame you.
Too racist.
I don't blame you.
I honestly, like, it's like two racists meet each other.
Space Hitler? Who are you gonna cure?
Just like the idea of we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyways, continue.
Worf doesn't give blood for the idea that it could go to one of the races that he opposes. And we're also joined by special guest Nikatine.
Hello, my name is Nikatine. I'm Veronica Ripley. I created Star Trek Adventures Loveless, the show on Twitch. I also write a lot of TTRPGs like Istless, and I am an electrically conductive object that you guys can just walk right through in an electrical storm while it's raining, because that sounds like a super duper smart decision that I could not stop cringing at this episode.
God, I hated the fucking I wasn't watching because I was making supper, but I just heard the line of, it's an electrically conducted metal, and I was like, so it's metal?
Crunch.
You also have an incredibly deleterious effect on people's central nervous
system. Planet Bimbofication? Are we gonna talk about Planet Bimbo? Oh we will. God, yes,
and we now this is an angle that I'm very excited to hear about. And getting there, two-time Left Trek challenge coin, we have the returning Justin, aka Do Not Eat.
Hi, I'm Justin Rosniak. I'm here. I am on the podcast. Well, there's your problem. I don't know how else to introduce myself. We just got the big 100,000 YouTube subscribers plaque today. Woo! So we've been celebrating.
Do you chop it? Did you chop it up in pieces so that you could each have some of it, or?
No, we have to do the expensive thing and then order more.
Oh,
That's how they get you. YouTube's just like, we're gonna send you one, and if you want another one for your co-host, you
Well, the
gotta-
main thing, the expense is not the thing. What I'm really hoping for is we all get them before Liam's wedding, which is on December 1st, because it's the first time all three of us will be in the same room together. You know?
Whoa. That's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah.
the first time ever, or the first time since like COVID?
No, the first time ever because, you know,
Yeah.
Oh my
Alice lives
God.
in Glasgow.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know you could just go to the store and have them things printed. That rules.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
apparently-
print one after this.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You could get like 1 million of them.
I don't know why I'm so surprised by that when I've met like literally like no one in real life that I've ever podcasted or that I've ever done anything on the internet with. Well, hey, listen. Hey folks, it's Left Trek, episode 41. It's the enemy. It's a good one. Well, we'll hear what everyone thinks about this, but I remember this one as a good one. I rewatched this one. We're in the era of Left Trek firmly that I go back and rewatch occasionally. And in fact, this is probably one of the ones that I go back specifically to because the episodes like after it are also good, so I don't have to like, I don't know, watch like the depressing orphan one or the creepy Geordi one or,
Which
you know,
creepy
whatever.
Geordi one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was last week.
Ugh.
So this is season 3, episode 7, The Enemy. We start out, they beam down to a super stormy planet and they discover this Romulan craft that they blew up after an impact. You hear that? That's the sound of the raging storm overhead. It's misting. We're also wet and dirty.
They
My
just-
central nervous system is disintegrating.
Immediately mention that this is a data-proof zone. Data cannot come down.
They'd be descrambling data circuits for weeks.
They'd be paying
sounds like-
makeup artists for
Like-
weeks.
like he's like he's like a string of Christmas tree lights. Like it's just like, oh, he just what part of him? What are you entangling? I don't understand.
Yeah, I was about to say,
descrambling a circuit.
they throw in like a USB drive in to flash his BIOS or like what's going in here.
I got
Yeah,
a
they-
question
they'd
for
have to
Justin. I got a
reformat
question
it.
for
Yeah.
Justin on this one. Justin, what is your take on the very clearly unsafe work environment that they've placed Geordi? Seeing that they wouldn't allow Data to come down, but they'll allow Geordi, who has this incredibly delicate piece of like ocular machinery. What's your take on the unsafe work environment and unsafe labor practices put forth by the Federation in this episode?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he's
Shit
gonna be completely useless without the glasses, right? You know, so you know he's gonna be all he can do is crawl around like Velma and Scooby Doo if he loses these things, which
Well,
seems
to
to
be
be
fair, that is just him normally. That's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
that's
So
just
I'm kind of
what
like
happens.
I don't know why they sent him down. They didn't send. I
He
mean,
can
it
see
might have.
better.
It
can
may
see
have
better
gone.
than I.
It may have gone down worse if they had sent like Worf or someone. But you know, I don't.
The line that where he's like, I'm blind, and I'm just like, shut up.
Yes.
Shut up. Like,
Zotz also says that to people in real life. when
It's
he's-
just Salt's normal reaction.
yeah.
Oh, shut up!
Blind.
So hey, I'm actually blind. So I was like, oh my god, give me your life story more, please.
Yeah.
But they'd be descrambling data they'd be reformatting Data's hard drives for weeks. But then they find an unconscious Romulan who wakes up when he smells Worf approaching and then starts to strangle him. But Worf is charging up his special Worf punch and then bam, knocks the guy out. It's actually like the guy is literally just strangling him, audience. Like it's, and Worf is just like completely unfazed. It's just like reeling back, like bam. It's like an anime. It's rocked. And then it knocks the guy out, perhaps killing him. knocks all of his blood out of his body, which will be important later. Geordi falls down a cliff and is separated from everyone, and then they have to beam him up. But oh my god, the storm is too strong. The window's closing. Geordi to the bottom of a ravine, yelling, "Worf! Commander Riker!"
Geordi did fall down and have to drink from the puddle. They forced him to drink from the puddle.
Did he actually drink from a puddle? I didn't.
He fell down in the puddle and he had to drink from it. Yeah.
I must have looked away. Oh, I've been stranded for a total of 10 minutes. I need to drink some puddle water.
No, well, he fell down face first in the puddle.
Oh,
which I thought
okay,
was
that's
where,
what it was.
presumably where the horrible space disease was coming from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, it wasn't electromagnetic interference at all. It's just he got like a brain-eating amoeba. This
Yes.
is really fast moving.
This isn't actually science fiction. This is something that could happen to you in real life.
Yeah, there was that Australian woman that had a worm, a brain worm, literally wriggling around,
like a whole ass worm.
Yeah, and then they went to go like take an autopsy to figure out what's going on in the surgery, and they just saw like a wriggly little worm in there, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I mean, no, pretty obviously, if you see a wriggly worm in the brain, that is a brain worm. You probably get rid of that.
That's not supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
On the bright side, she was a phenomenal poster for the time that she had the worm in between the seizures. They took it out and it's fine. Also, they saved the parasitic worm, so don't worry, folks.
Oh, I was super worried.
Geordi is stranded. Badass. Immediately starts improvising tools by finding like metallic rocks, then sculpting a mold and melting them down into like the smooth hot metal. Like I don't know what he's doing. I don't know at this point what he's doing with those, but
I was very confused as well. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, I always enjoy seeing some forging.
It's
I
like
would see
Geordi at Ren Fair.
Geordi do a LaForge.
Yeah, but I thought it was.
You can cross that off your notes.
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like the A-Team, you know, where they're just like, they just look around with like the 7 pieces of scrap metal, and all of a sudden he's just built a contraption to just like float himself out of the canyon that he fell into.
Geordi builds a dirigible.
Yeah, they come back.
Built a rocket. Some fucking blasts off. It's like the Martian. they have to pick him up, and he's just flying around in space. Back on the ship, the recovered Romulan, he's dying. Apparently, Romulan physiology is somehow different to Vulcans, which doesn't make sense. I guess the Romulans, in the process of like leaving on their super advanced spaceships and engaging in interstellar travel, they were also undergoing evolution.
No,
they were also undergoing a
they
survival.
explain that. They explain it. It's the fascist pet project. The the breeding program, the Romulan breeding program.
They're doing they did a whole shitload of eugenics. Yeah.
Yeah, they do it.
And that fucked them up real bad.
Wow, wait, I totally missed that. What the fuck?
Yeah, he doesn't want to pollute his body with Klingon.
Well, I saw
there's that part, but it's also
yeah.
Later in the episode where the guy's like, I can't believe they let you survive because you're blind.
That's right.
It's kind of like, they're doing a whole shitload of eugenics, and it's fucked them up so bad.
Yeah.
That was always my headcanon explanation for this. But yeah, no, that is textually supported. Yeah, hey, look at that. That makes a lot of sense. Oh wow, that's actually smart writing. Hey, look at you, TNG. Good job.
Yeah, it's like being the Spartans. You're like the toughest guys, but then you abandoned all those children in the forest. And guess how many Spartans there are now?
Wait, this was wait, hold on. How did I miss that this was like an anti-eugenicist fucking episode? I guess my fucking bar for assessing TNG has just been so lowered that I just have no fucking critical thought when I go into these things anymore, because it's
that's why we love you, Zots, is that you're
head empty.
opinions, they ebb and flow like the wind,
Yeah.
like the breeze, like
No,
the tides.
no thoughts, head empty.
Yeah.
But the guy's like, oh, I'm alone. And they're like, hey, what's your name? He's like, I'm alone. How many people are on your ship? And he's like, I'm alone.
Riker's a real asshole to the guy who's just coming out of a coma.
They're kind of terse with him.
They're
But
very,
to be
very
fair, though-
terse. Yeah, but okay, yeah, you are talking about basically a Nazi, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to
it's
get
true.
information out of the guy, maybe we start with something a little gentler.
Yeah, a little more good cop.
Give him a little kiss.
here.
Just give him a little.
That's why he started dying in the first place. Because that's their first line of treatment in the future.
They just kiss boo-boos.
Old country medicine.
Old country medicine.
That's the real reason that Gates McFadden is the best doctor in Starfleet.
Okay, take a deep breath. Are we okay? Count to 10.
What do you think she was doing for that season when she got called back to be the head of Starfleet Medical?
Old country medicine.
Old country.
She was teaching a little bit of
Yeah.
kissing.
Old country. See, old country medicine to me, just thinking of like cocaine,
Yeah.
just straight
Bloodletting.
morphine. Yeah.
Probably some Mary Jane.
Yeah, even better. They come back. The Romulan is just covered in leeches.
Covered in leeches
For
and
s-
getting stoned out of his mind.
For some reason, he's
You have
super
too much black bile.
Releasing
He
your
can't
humors.
focus, and he has like no blood left in him. I don't know why. We smoked them
Well,
up.
we
leached
took
them
the
down.
blood out. There were ghosts in it.
That's so fun. That's so real life story. That's so funny. That's how George Washington died. He's the fucking he's the father of our country, and because he had like a mild cold, they just started like bleeding him dry, and he's like,
Good. We should do that to all slave owners.
They're just
continually.
They're just bleeding him, and he's just drinking, and they're in like a fucking snowstorm, and he just fucking dies.
Good.
That's
I'm
just
glad.
so funny.
Turns out the Romulan just has scurvy, but no one has been able to figure out that that's still a disease anymore. They
Yeah.
Uh,
could have just given him some limes. Nope.
Worf is the only one that has the codes to produce
Yeah.
anything that could prevent that, because he loves the prune juice. They need prunes, but
Yeah,
Worf's the only
yeah.
one that knows how to make them.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's got a bunch of vitamin C.
I know we're kind of skipping ahead, but Worf.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. I'll
Traditionally-
talk about everything.
Worf traditionally very a racist, right, or like species, whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
And the Romulans. This is like my first time seeing the Romulans, except for like that one episode where like they get like teleported to the other ship or some shit like that. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the first time.
yeah.
Like, this is my like first time like actually like seeing them and like learning. What the fuck they're about.
I didn't realize this is like your first like real exposure to the Romulans. That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Can I do a nicotine fun fact? Yeah, this is the same probe scene. This is the same exact launch of the probe. Same scene in that episode.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that!
the reused footage, baby.
Love it. As was the want back in like the 90s and 80s. But like Worf being like, I don't want to save the Romulans. They killed my family, and I hate all of them from here on out. And then like it's just like when finally confronted with like the Romulan on his deathbed, I would rather die than have your fucking your Klingon blood in my body. And out of spite for the racist, I would give them my blood. I feel like that's the best fight.
That's probably the way to go in that situation.
Yeah, that's
I
the
might
best
do
way.
that in that case. Yeah.
There's a MASH episode about that. I believe is that the like a racist guy. He needs blood, and the only compatible donor is like a black guy. And then they like, I don't remember exactly what they do, but they like, I think they like you trick him into like thinking that it was actually like the black guy's blood, or maybe he wasn't the black guy's blood. Maybe he just was a racist, and then so
Just some blood they found.
Then they tell him that it was a black guy's blood, and then I think they start like kind of like racistly doing some stuff where he thinks he's becoming black or something.
No!
It's been a while. I have to ask my partner. My partner is very.
Why wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if the
Your
Romulan?
partner's encyclopedic knowledge of MASH.
Wouldn't it
Sorry.
be funny
like,
if the
very genuinely?
if the Romulan was just like trying to be tricky and just be like, oh yeah, I would hate it if you gave me your blood. Oh, that would be the worst. I would hate that. I really wanted to live.
It just didn't work out.
Worf takes him seriously.
Well, that's and Worf is and speak. This is like that's like my least favorite like a bit of the writing here. 'Cause even though this is a good episode, it's a real cop out that they kind of absolve Worf for his racism. There, sweetie. Hey, so can you? What happens in that MASH episode?
Wow,
where
this is happening.
The race,
Okay.
the racist guy.
Oh, they end up painting him black.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no!
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Black
no!
so that he thinks he turned black.
Oh.
Just like fuck with him.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Thank you very much. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there's a MASH episode about that already. It turns out. Look at that. Oh, pardon me.
I did want to make a note, before we get too far off the chronological track. I took a few notes. Geordi climbs out of the hole exclusively with his upper body. He does not use his legs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So don't worry, we're getting back to that. So the scene right after they're trying to press the guy for information, what he was actually doing, he wasn't like making like fancy space tools. He was just melting rocks to make fucking ice picks.
Yeah.
Hand make ice picks to just stab him into the stone wall and just climb himself up.
Justin?
It's like the coolest fucking scene ever.
Justin, it's not that he was
love
shredded.
it.
It's not that he was shredded. It's that he was so intent on getting back to the holodeck with his hollow girlfriend.
Yeah, that's
with
what I
his-
was confused about, because like Geordi is, generally like the incel character, and it's like, if you have that amount of upper body strength, what the fuck are you doing, man?
He's got to get back to fake Leia Brahms.
Yeah, that was literally the last episode. Was part 1 of the creepy Geordi saga. Would you like to see an earlier edition of us covering the creepy Geordi saga? Well, go ahead and head over to the Left Trek Patreon, where we have one of the very few premium episodes we have is the creepy Geordi saga, parts 1 and 2. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for us to talk about part 2 for like 20 more weeks, or however long it takes us to get to season 4. But you see, he manufactures climbing picks. Geordi has is just that's mostly like triceps. You never really get a good look at Geordi's tricep, but they are just like huge, just sticking, bulging out of his body.
Oh yeah.
I work out exactly one set of muscles.
It's these.
There are people that actually do that, and it is always hilarious, but always leads to like really fascinating results. Let's like this, Geordi's an incel, but man, is he gonna fucking ice pick climb his way up a rock face?
Yeah,
that's so fucking
We
cool.
left out a
Props
detail.
to Geordi.
Eric, we left out a detail in that scene when they're trying to wake up the Romulan. There's a time crunch because apparently they crash landed on Bimbification Planet.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Please explain to the audience, Nika, in detail the internet trend of bimboification.
No. Google it.
Well, so Wesley comes to save the day after Riker's like, oh my god, how could we possibly get a message down to Geordi? And Wesley's like, a neutrino pulse, and Geordi's like, and Data just just goes, "Oh my God, Wesley, you're so fucking smart. Holy shit, Wesley, you are the smartest person I've ever met in my entire life." And then Geordi sees it later and instantly goes, "Must have been Wesley. Wesley's the only one that could have figured out how to do this." They intercept a transmission from famous Commander Tomalak, and they have a cute little back and forth.
First appearance of Tomalak in the show so far.
First of many. We love Tomalak. We'll be seeing a lot of him in the future. And then I think I don't remember what was happening in real life because I just wrote some stuff happens in my notes.
So they have the conversation, and then at the end, Deanna Troi says something incredibly obvious about his tone.
He's hiding something or whatever.
It seemed like there was something behind his smile. It's like, no fucking shit.
Troy's just here to explain regular emotions to the crew.
That's always what Troy's job. Troy's job is to deliver like extremely basic, completely unnecessary. Troy's job is to tell, don't show, and have like absolutely like no weight on the goings on of the episode. Recent favorite examples when is Troy demonstrates the power of precognition right before she tries to warn that oh my God, beam them up right now, something horrible's about to happen, and then not like half a second later Worf's like, a bomb went off, you have to beam us up. So Troy literally accomplished nothing, but we have demonstrated that she has the power of precognition only half a second into the future. That is also apparently powerful enough to travel tens of thousands of miles into orbit. And it's just used and there was no stakes. She didn't save anyone. She didn't prevent any kind of injury. We, the audience, just as a result knew about it half a second earlier than we would have known about it otherwise.
And then they cut to a scene that I was immediately like, I have been in this situation. So Geordi the Forge is climbing up a waterfall, and this waterfall looks identical to about 7 years ago. Not 70 years ago. I'm not that old. 7 years ago, I was in the basement of a tiki bar in the South Side flats of Pittsburgh, and there was a water feature that looked identical to that waterfall in the basement. And I had about 12 $2 cocktails, and then after that, Liam and I decided we were going to walk home, which involved about 200 feet of elevation change because it's Pittsburgh. And we walked over the hot metal bridge, and I threw up in the middle, and then we walked up the 200 feet, and Geordi was having this exact same experience. So I have a lot of sympathy for the guy because I have done that as well.
Geordi and his Coco no-nos.
Too many Coco no-nos. But my next note after some stuff happens is Geordi is down on the planet and he gets attacked by another Romulan. He's taken prisoner and shut up, phone.
Yeah, shut up.
And then he's immediately taken prisoner and starts complaining about sand in his shoes in like really awful ADR acting.
Yes.
I hate sand in my shoes.
Well,
of course, it gets everywhere, you know.
They had George Lucas as a guest editor on this episode, so they just had to bring in Geordi to do some ADR about how much sand sucks. And then immediately afterwards, he's taken prisoner. Romulan's got a gun. Some rocks fall on the Romulan, and then Geordi's like, "Oh my God, I've got to escort this guy into the cave." And like a full 20 seconds pass, and like it would have been a really great opportunity to disarm this guy who was just pointing a gun at you. But I guess Federation people are just so peaceful that they can't even think on those terms that like someone would want to keep pointing a gun at them after they save their life.
To be fair, Eric, it's bimbofication planet.
Oh yeah, they can't think straight because they're slowly being transformed into drones.
No thoughts head empty.
they finally find a compatible blood donor on the ship, and spoiler alert,
Well,
it's
who would
Worf.
it be? It's Worf.
It's Worf. Look at that.
Wow.
Who could it possibly be? Data? No, it was
No.
it was Worf.
The most racist man on the Enterprise.
And it's very funny because Crusher approaches him like clearly knowing that he's gonna say no,
She's trying to break the fall.
Yeah, he approaches him like someone approaching their kid when they find out that they
Toddler.
can't get like the bounce house that they wanted for their birthday. It's like,
Hey,
okay,
buddy.
so you know how we were looking for a compatible blood donor. Well, we found one. Like a beat passes. Worf's like, that's great. It's you.
It's you.
Isn't that great? Isn't that so good? Now you can get blood. Like they're really trying to beard the lion here. And then he says no, as she clearly expected. Geordi and the guy who took him prisoner are kind of bonding. His visor is like kind of going staticky, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're blind? How did you go blind?" And that's where we find out that the Romulans are eugenicists.
Yeah, they do serious eugenics. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're the real old timey kind.
Yeah, they're like one of the, like, you saw like in like two public abortion fights ago in America, you had like an occasional maybe leftist, maybe like a plant is not sure, like on Twitter going like, well, abortion isn't that great because eugenicists also wanted to do abortion. And so apparently the Romulans are a planet of those people.
Hey, so-
the people
Yes.
they were warning
Actually, on a little bit of a tangent, right? Star Trek Nemesis shows us that that the Romulans have basically they have like a Morlock race that they keep on a moon, right? There's like
fun.
lesser Romulans, and
The
also they clone
Remans!
Picard.
Get
They
it?
clone Picard
Get it?
into Tom Hardy.
about. Yeah, they do indeed.
So they are into weird genetics and eugenicist stuff.
I mean, it's true. Well, and then we find out in Discovery, so are the Klingons. In fact, the Klingons are somehow the best at it, even though they hate doing math and science.
Discovery. Wow, what is that? What's that?
That's some fucking garbage. That's not worth your time.
I've never heard of it before. What is that?
I can't believe I've watched all of New Trek except
Ugh.
Strange New Worlds.
That's the
It makes
best
me wanna-
one. Ah!
I know you say it's the first of all, Picard season 3 is actually good. That's the best one. Second of all, I watched one episode of Strange New Worlds and I was out. I was out so fast. I was out faster than I have possibly ever been out of a show before. Pardon me. They find so Geordi and the guy, they're kind of bonding. They talk about like the eugenics and the divinity of the Romulan gene pool and stuff. No mention of the Remans because of course that's a TNG movie in vengeance. And you know what? I throw a lot of hate on New Trek, but I also have a lot of hate for the TNG movies. Fuck the TNG. Fuck like every single one of the fucking
Patrick Stewart
TNG
wanted
movies.
to be an action star. It's because it was mostly Patrick Stewart wanting to be an action
And
star.
he's also partly responsible for Picard.
Yeah, for Picard. That's why Picard is like that. That's why the movies are like that, because Patrick Stewart wants to be an action star.
Well, there's a very funny like Ricky Gervais.
No.
There's
We
a-
can cut
there's
that
a ver-
part.
There's a very funny he had like a show. I don't remember what it was called. But Patrick Stewart's on there, and Patrick Stewart is like pitching like Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah, I've seen this bit. I've seen this
like
bit.
a show, and then there's like a YouTube edit of showing how it's like eerily similar to elements of Picard, and so there's this woman, right, and she's like an enemy, and her clothes all fall off.
Oh, I remember that one actually. Yeah.
So this is what happens when you let Patrick Stewart, phenomenal actor, not a great writer. Don't let him anywhere near the writing room. And of course, Alex Kurtzman is still also responsible for that. Alex Kurtzman, my mortal enemy, who I wish ill upon every single day of my life. The TNG movies, awful. Before New Trek even existed, the TNG movies were also out there just doing horrible things to Star Trek for forever forward. I always love to give Voyager shit about like what the awful things they did to the Borg, but the Borg Queen was introduced in fucking
First Contact.
TNG movies. First Contact.
First
I
Contact.
always forget it was, but it was. Stupid, fucking so mad, so mad. Anyway.
Yeah, dumb Borg Queen. She sucks. Hate her. Man.
And then her Borg implants all fall off.
We tie her up in a corset. Oh my god, maybe Patrick Stewart has something to do with 7 of 9. Romulan, so the Romulan warships, so great quote from Picard here, like, Romulan warships do not enter Federation space thus they are prepared to do battle. You know what, I'm gonna put, I always hate myself when I do this. I'm listening over to the episode and then I hear my past self say like, I'll play a clip right here, and then sometimes I just delete that section of me saying that.
The
But you know what?
takes hold.
But you know what? Well, also it's like time constraints because I'm a horrible procrastinator. It's like, oh shit, I gotta get this out by 4 o'clock, and then I don't anyway.
I wrote down here like Picard is clearly he's gonna do brickmanship, but he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Reluctant. He's just like JFK, right? He's just like JFK. He didn't want to do brinksmanship. He didn't want to do it. That's what I was taught in school. JFK didn't want to be all brinksmanship, but they just went and stopped putting missiles in Cuba.
Picard never.
Missiles in Cuba.
Picard didn't get shot at Dealey Plaza, so you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always time. Well, he's a robot now.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. It's canon. That's right.
Don't watch Picard. Well, also it's also not canon because in season 3, because that wasn't written by Alex Kurtzman, that was like, you know, a competent showrunner. They just ignore that. They just forget about it. Like they don't even mention it, and it also doesn't make any sense. Which I commend, because that's always what I don't. Never be a slave to canon. If you don't like something, just change it. Who fucking cares? You don't want to turn yourself into a Star War, even though everything is a fucking Star Wars now.
Gotta buy those laser sword toy commercial toys.
Yes.
The Romulan is trying to appeal to Picard's weak human morality. They're like, oh, but surely are you really gonna let borders affect a person's life? And you know, imagine like a Nazi. Imagine like Himmler.
He's
like,
going to Poland.
Yeah. and if Picard stabs back, like, I'm singularly impressed with your concern over one life. Do not threaten many more by crossing the damn neutral zone. You know, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, basically that.
It's great.
Just don't do it. Don't do the stupid thing. We're gonna work it out. Come on.
We're gonna blow you up. We are dealing with a racist who refuses to give your guy blood, but you know what? That's some drama you don't really need to worry about, and will be irrelevant. Don't worry about it.
You should just say, okay, I'll call the admiral. You hang tight. I'll call an admiral.
Geordi and the Romulan are talking, and they decide to work together and about like the willingness to fight to not be prisoner. Geordi's like, oh, I'd make a really bad Romulan. He's like, I mean, like, it's not that I want to die. It's just that I've been, you know, trained by a fascist dictatorship to demand my death for the state since I was a kid. Yeah, Worf goes down to Riker's quarters to argue that I shouldn't give this Romulan any of my blood, and he quote right here. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, my Federation training tells me one thing, but everything I am tells me another. So Worf is genetically racist. Is what
when Worf walks in to Riker's office, Riker is just doing shooters.
Yeah. I remember joking with this
taking shots all day.
At the time. He just has like one shot glass like right next to him, and that's just in case Worf ever comes over. Riker's like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with
this. Fucking goddamn.
In case of
God,
Worf,
I'm gonna start doing
shot.
that now.
Fucking
I'm just gonna have shot glasses in my office. Anytime like a person comes in with their name on it, just shoot it. All right, now you can talk.
Yeah.
Can I do a Nikatine fun fact? A double fun fact from Nikatine? Can I do one of these?
Do.
Okay.
I did not read the IMDb trivia.
The first,
this.
I only read part of it, but But there's two double Nikatine fun facts here. First of which is that this is the first time we ever, and the only time we ever hear the rank Commodore spoken aloud in TNG. It's not a real rank from anyone, not even Romulans, and it's the only time we ever hear it in TNG, which is interesting. Also, the
the Geordi is like well, the fleets are in, Commodore.
Yeah. Well, because the Romulan told him his rank was Commodore.
Oh yeah.
It's barely a rank in real life.
Yeah. So, so that's first fun fact. Second fun fact is that Michael Dorn, Worf, didn't actually want to do any of this. Like, he didn't want to do this plot because he believed that, like, in television, it's usually, the person usually comes around and they overcome the whatever. But Michael Dorn wanted to do it the old-fashioned television way, but the writers were like, nah, let's. It doesn't make sense for Worf.
We got to make the only black.
Oh wait, so
we
gotta
Michael Dorn. We got to make one of the two only black guys on set, the racist one. That's what we got.
Well, but the other black guy is the good guy, so it evens out.
The other black guy is the creepy guy with an amazing amount of upper body strength.
Completely yoked.
That is the most shredded person you've ever seen in your entire life.
Deep well of desire to get back to the holodeck to fake Leia Brahms.
Yeah, it's like stunt casting. Like you see Geordi start climbing up the thing, and then it cuts, and it's clearly Terry Crews, and he's just wearing his visor, and then Geordi just climbs out of the top. So is Michael Dorr the reason why they bitch out and are like, oh well, and they kind of like excuse Worf's behavior here because if Worf had been fully enthusiastic to give the guy his blood, it would not have changed anything, and they wrote it very carefully to make that so. Like it felt like a weird half measure. Maybe that explains it, that like Michael Dorn was giving the writers pushback.
I don't know. I actually don't know what led to the eventual decision, but all I know is that Michael Dorn didn't initially want to do this plotline because he didn't want people to think of Worf as a villain. But the writers were like, well, it doesn't make sense for a Klingon to like want to give blood to a Romulan.
Well, sorry about that, Worf, because I've seen Deep Space Nine, so I know you are a villain. I know you are a reactionary. I know you're a fascist. You have the same backstory as like Superman from the fucking Zack Snyder movies. You in that like, oh, I broke something when I was younger. I learned that I'm just too strong for this world.
Didn't he break a child though? Didn't he break it like a child?
Yes, I killed someone when I was playing football one time. And
oh man!
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. It's not Zack Snyder Superman. It's Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers.
Wow!
What a fucking yeah!
The longest thread on the forums is Worf a libertarian.
He's a full-on fascist. He's a fascist in the same way that a college Republican is a fascist. So he says he's libertarian.
To Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism, Captain.
He says he's a libertarian, but he's actually just a fascist. That's how that works.
Classical
Geordi,
liberal, I think.
So Riker starts getting drunk because Worf's talking to him. Worf is genetically. Worf's like, my Federation training tells me one thing. It's like, your Federation training. You were raised in the Federation. You are a Federation.
You're an officer on the most prestigious starship in the Federation, and you could easily avert a major catastrophe incoming if you just do this one thing.
As far as we know, the only Klingon in Starfleet too, by the way.
Yeah.
He is, and we understand that so the only reason that he's racist is because of this, and this is just my reading of it. This is one of the reasons why I fucking hate Worf, is that he's racist because he's a Klingon reactionary in that he has this reductionist, like, past blinded view of like a Klingon empire that was, and then that never actually existed, that he holds on to so dearly that it shapes every aspect of his personality, and he then goes on to act like that's how he's always been. It's like if one of these, like, you know, fascist, like Republican people was like, oh, I'm actually I guess they do this. It goes, I'm a child of Rome. I'm actually a child of Rome.
I want to say something, but I don't know if I can go on the podcast.
The amazing part of not doing it live.
That's a good point. Worf is an Afro pessimist.
That's true. But yeah, he's exactly like Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
He's more like Clarence. When he goes and becomes like governor of a sector, that's when
he
exactly Clarence Thomas. Worf is, and like also the fact that he's just like an abusive, like, bad boyfriend really just is like the most upsetting part of it. That's really like Deep Space Nine. You know, we all love Deep Space Nine. I love Deep Space Nine. Everyone loves Deep Space Nine. Zasa doesn't know Deep Space Nine yet. Everyone loves Deep Space Nine, but the consistent problem of it is how they treat like the fascists that aren't Gul Dukat. Gul Dukat's amazing. No notes. Deep Space Nine. Odo and Worf are these like awful, like, jilted lover reactionaries that have like these incredibly like possessive and problematic relationships with women who are around them in their professional life, which then goes on to cause like awful things happening politically in the case of Worf, and politically in the case of Odo, and personally in the case of Worf. And it's just, and it's so awful, it's so obnoxious, and the fact that like Worf is just, it has been raised as like a human is just another one of many thousands of species in the Federation, but then just holds on to this like Klingon empire that never exists, is not part of his culture. It's just this thing that he holds on to because that's like his view of how the world should work, and it's incredibly like horrifying and reactionary and violent, and God, I really hate that I hate Worf, but God, I fucking hate Worf. And I actually like a lot of like the Worf episodes with like the Klingon politics that a lot of people like say they don't like. I out and proudly like, but you know, that's like Klingons doing Klingon stuff. That it's and Worf is also, every time Worf hangs out with Klingons, like everyone talks about, you're not like other Klingons. He's like Klingons don't laugh, and everyone's like, every Klingon I've ever met has been like the hardiest motherfucker.
I was about to say, yeah, you go back to the show. It's like these Klingons have a good time.
They're always doing like
that good
jolliest, like
yeah.
partying warriors. That just these like incredibly like social people. And Dwarf's like, Klingons don't have friends. Klingons don't have casual sex.
What if it's like an indoor cat that like didn't grow up around other cats, you know? And like has no idea how to meow right, drinks water out of the running faucet, drools on the blanket a bunch, you know? Just like one of those indoor cats that just doesn't cat right.
Yeah.
It's very specific. I'm guessing you have a cat. That's exactly like
I've known a lot of cats like that. Sucking on blankets.
Nika's just describing herself.
Oh God, they know.
Crusher calls Worf down to sick bay so that he can beat up the Romulan who's dying in bed.
She tries to shame him out of into doing it. It does not work.
Yeah, he gets out racist. Like, but don't worry, in case you could have thought about anything possibly negative about Worf, the writers are here to stop that, because the Romulan guy was refusing surgery anyway. Like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know, no one else talked about that. It was conspicuously just in scenes with Michael Dorn, like that was it, or like, you know, stuff that they could have inserted, like, you know, in like ADR, like people talking over like communication stuff. But look at that. He's fully absolved. The Romulan didn't want his treatment anyway, so Worf being enthusiastic about giving him the blood wouldn't have mattered. They wouldn't have been able to give
The
him blood.
Romulan said he didn't want to pollute his blood with Klingon filth, but what the Romulan wanted could have been a very different thing.
I was about to say, I think you could have turned around the whole plot here very easily if you really wanted to, but the writers were we have to keep the bloodline pure.
I'm conflicted in this because like if it was up to me to like do like a bone marrow transplant with a fascist, right? I would not. There's no way in hell that I would.
So you'd
right?
pull a big Worf.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think I
the
would.
way this transplant is described, it's something that's very easy.
Yeah.
And like painless and no risk.
That's true too.
Yeah, Worf could have spit in his
Can you
mouth.
do-
or whatever.
Man, he should have though. That would have been great.
That would have been great. Yeah, I would rather die than have Klingon DNA, and he just like
Even that meme of the two women with the milk in her hair, you know, but it's just Worf spitting in the Romulan's mouth.
Hey, look, I would not give a kidney, but I'd donate some blood, you know?
That's true too. Yeah, I guess. Fuck. I don't know.
Because you're right, Zots. I wouldn't give a fascist my blood. You know, like I don't care. But it's not. But of course, it's not phrased under like any ideological lines. It's literally just Worf is racist. Worf is just, it's the only reason. Worf doesn't have any Worf definitely doesn't have any problems with the way that Romulans operate because he loves the Klingons and they're worse. They're worse. They're worse than the Romulans. They do terrible things, and they're the Federation's best friend.
So the Klingons have slaves, but the Romulans have an entire moon of their what they would consider "quote unquote" degenerates.
They're Untermenschen, right?
They only have one.
So, like-
the Romulans only have one slave race. The Klingons have like 100.
Oh my god! It's not a. It's not a. It's not a how many slave races you have.
If we're like, okay, so the Dominion has
all
two slave.
slavery is bad, Eric.
The Dominion. Let's count this up. The Dominion has two slave races.
I'm just gonna say, in the competition between slave races, I'm going with the Klingons because they seem to have a better time doing it.
Klingons have blood wine.
There's a lot more like Viking murder going on there.
Exactly.
Well, so now we've also revealed, as I have stated this on previous episodes, but I also hate the Klingons just in general. I just hate the Klingons in general. I hate that they're fascists. I hate that they're misogynists. I hate that they're like horrible, violent reactionaries that undergo like brutal like conquests over.
But they're not
over their
transphobic.
neighbors.
That's true.
Well,
That's
let me
true.
think.
They're
Hold
not
on.
transphobic.
No, yeah, because they really respected Dax. You're right.
That's right.
They're not transphobic. So
Jadzia,
Wow.
my old friend. I know the meme. I share it every trans day of visibility, man. I know that meme.
It's the only meme I know. That's not that's the only one I know.
The one where it's like
aside from-
Curzon, my old friend. It's like it's Jadzia now. The guy just
Jadzia,
never
my
believes.
old
It's
friend.
Jadzia, my old friend.
That's so good. Great.
Heartwarming. But he's also hated by the Klingon Empire because he's not racist enough. So, you know. Back down on the planet, Geordi and the Romulan are having their central nervous system melted and slowly replaced into the robots with big tits for some reason. I'm sorry.
Their synapses.
This is Nikatine's fault.
It's their synapses.
I know too much about.
synapses.
I unfortunately know about the specific kink that
Geordi's
that
looking
that
around and like,
Nikatine is
how did I
referencing.
get into this maid costume?
Well, we didn't quite figure out why the planet is doing all this stuff, so the
It's
bimbofication
like-
theory is as legitimate as any others.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
true.
you.
It's just a storm. It's just
that's what the Romulans were doing there. These two people were trying to get bimbofied, but their ship crashed.
My ship is too dummy thick.
It's actually an ancient Romulan ritual, but and the Federation has disrupted like a huge part of this Romulan culture. Yeah, this Romulan like really important cultural like pilgrimage, but they're just too embarrassed to tell the Federation about it. So
this is where our people went to get bimbofied.
We don't talk about Galorndon Core with outsiders.
This is like the Oracle of Delphi, which I think also had a bunch of bimbos.
The whole thing is like
Galorndon Core that we don't show people those pictures. Put those pictures away.
Put them back.
When they're like, is there anything left of the ship? Not unless you want to go over it with a pair of tweezers. But we did find these cat ears.
Bunch of silicone implants. What else?
Romulan boobies.
Gigantic Romulan boobies. You couldn't even describe it. Cubic centimeters was too small of a measurement.
You get pounds per square inch is how you measure these things. They're celestial.
High pressure boobs.
Back down on the planet, they're having their central nervous system melted. The Romulan is like, I can walk, but I can't walk, but I can see and move my hands. And Geordi is like, I can't see or move my hand. Well, I guess he can move his hands. I just can't see, but I can walk just fine. And they're like, what if we can bind our heads together? 2 heads are better than one. The Romulan's like, can you construct the thingy? Can you construct the thing to see the beacon? And Geordi's like, yeah, I guess so.
No,
I can
Geordi's
build a smelling device.
Geordi's
and the guy's like, I will be your eyes.
Yeah. Geordi says I can't because I'm blind.
I can. The guy's like, don't be a bitch.
I really like this delivery, like the concept, like this guy like becoming less like shitty, going to Geordi and be like, I will be your eyes. I mean, this is self-motivated, but I like it. I think meaningful growth in the course of one TNG episode.
It is a very good arc, yeah.
Yeah. The Romulan ship is coming. Red alert.
Yeah.
Geordi and the guy is getting along, and the guy is terrified of being captured by the Federation. And if I were Geordi, I'd be telling like, oh no, we don't like. I don't know what you've like propaganda you've heard. We don't like torture prisoners. We don't like eat anyone or anything. You're actually going to be treated incredibly well. If you're become a prisoner of war, you're going to be treated better as a Federation prisoner of war than you have ever been treated as a Romulan citizen.
I can even show you how to make your own girlfriend.
No!
let me tell you about this. Geordi just takes him afterwards, and it's like, yeah, before you go, let me show you a little program I cooked up in the holodeck.
Oh.
Yep.
It just the perspective just like gets smaller. It just goes
like a Looney
Tunes. Here's what I was thinking at this point. It's like, okay, so we have this Federation ship that's picked up a Romulan prisoner who is now dying, right? And there's this Romulan bird of prey coming, and they're about to fire on the ship, right? But the Federation ship is full of both military personnel and civilians. I'm like, damn, Federation is Hamas.
Well, we get it. Speaking of that, like one of the things that like the Federation this is like a running joke in all of TNG, but like that they can separate the saucer section when they're gonna get into danger, but they never do. Like
they never do that. They never do that. When it's like there's actually
it seems like a great opportunity. A great opportunity to separate the saucer sections when you're about to do the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd probably do separate the saucer section. They really wait a long time to do that.
Yeah, so he's not, so like, yeah, the guy's like, oh, I'm gonna be a Federation prisoner, and then Geordi's like, well, we don't really have prisons, you see. That's canon, by the way. They don't have prisons in the Federation.
Yeah, or poverty until Picard comes around.
Yeah, where they have prisons and poverty.
That's
you, Alex Kurtzman. You don't understand Star Trek, and I hate you.
That's not a great scenario for the aspirational sort of television program that this is always supposed to have been.
Yeah, and then you have people being like, "Oh, well, the Federation became more reactionary because fuck you." No, anyone who says that, fuck you. I hate you. Unless you're someone who would come out come on Left Trek as a guest, in which case that take is fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, I would say
Jesse
fuck
doesn't
you.
watch the show.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Jesse Gender doesn't watch the show, right? No, probably not. Eric, cut that. Geordi at the so Worf is called into Picard's office, and Picard and Worf is still militantly refused. Picard is like, I'm begging you, I'm pleading, I'm on my knees, give him blood. You're gonna start space World War III. Just give this guy some blood.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. The comparison with Pearl Harbor here was really confusing to me, because I would assume that would involve like suddenly the Romulans coming through and bombing a shipyard, which is not what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happens in Discovery, actually, literally. Wait, or no, that's what happens in Picard. I don't. Yeah, that happens in Picard.
Ugh, whatever.
What I'm getting out of this is sort of more of like a what's the thing that happened on the North Korean demilitarized zone with the axe murder incident. That's sort of what's happening here, and we figured out how to deal with that.
Wait, I don't know about this. Have I never heard of this before?
Oh god. Okay, so there was a situation where the Americans in South Korea wanted to chop down a tree in the demilitarized zone, and the North Koreans wouldn't agree to it. And eventually, they just sent some people down there to chop down the tree, regardless. And then some North Korean guys came and murdered those guys with an axe. So what the Americans did was send an unbelievable amount of military force to the area, including like aircraft carriers and bombers and like tanks and everything else. And then they sent a specialized division of commandos over to the specific area, all the terrified North Koreans. And then what they did is they chopped down the tree and left. That's the short version.
It is very. That is much better. I didn't even hear the Pearl Harbor comparison. I just tuned that out. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, and it seems like it's more like directly. It seems like in like the cultural zeitgeist. This would be like a Cuban Missile Crisis thing too,
or
right?
like murdering Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah. Like the spark that lights a powder keg, but Pearl Harbor was not really that. That was just a preemptive strike for two nations that were already preparing to go to war with one another.
It's like come on, people cross DMZs all the time, dude. This is no big deal.
Yeah, seriously. The Romulan the axe murder incident. I can't believe I hadn't heard about that. That's and
it was also known as Operation Paul Bunyan.
Of course it was.
Well, you think
Paul Bunyan, the kaiju?
Yes. Well, I think the ox was the kaiju. Paul Bunyan was a Gundam.
Oh yeah.
Sots, don't you dare start talking about gun. If I hear any of the three words iron, blood, or orphan, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I mean, there's a new season coming out. Okay, anyways, continuing.
It is pretty good. I'll never watch it though. You think I would have heard about that, because that seems like the kind of thing that, like, in the same vein as like the Russian like pencil, where it's like, aha, the Russians wanted to sort of trying to the United States trying to make a pen and they spent $40 trillion making a pen, but the Russians just used a pencil because that works in zero gravity. Like the kind of thing that you'd see shared on like a boomer Facebook group in like 2008.
Yeah. And then they leave out the part where the pencil breaks off and gets stuck in some astronaut's eye.
You use ballpoint pens daily.
Lights on fire because it's in like a rich oxygen environment. So you don't want to limit the amount of flammable things nearby. But or like same vein as like Killdozer or something like that. Check out Do Not Eat's Patreon. It's only $1. Get a great video on Killdozer. It's wonderful. Go check it out.
I'm on that Patreon. Whoa.
Yeah. It's,
and then go to the Left Trek's Patreon.
Yeah,
$3 instead.
For just $1 a month, you may at some point in the future see another bonus episode from me. Who knows?
It's a real crapshoot out there. Geordi, City Skylines 2. Hey, Worf is called. So yeah, Worf's called him Picard. Picard's like begging him, like, please don't start World War III. And Worf and Picard's like, I'm not going to order you to do this. And then Worf's like, okay, good, and then leaves.
Okay, good. Yeah. I don't give a fuck.
Worf's like, I gave you an out. I told you could have just told me to.
Yeah.
And then very suspiciously, very suspicious. Look at this. They call down. Picard calls down to Beverly Crusher and it's like Beverly, stop trying to enlist the aid of Worf to cure the Romulan, and Beverly and Worf is once again absolved. It wouldn't have mattered if he changed his mind right there. The Romulan's already dead. Look at that. And just a little thinking here. I'm scratching my beard. It's very interesting that Picard doesn't say anything after that, and also Beverly isn't in the scene, so she could really have said anything there. And so it's almost like after the fact they retroactively made it so that Worf's decision wouldn't have actually mattered so that the audience doesn't like hate him, or that because Michael Dorr was mad at the writers because they wanted to make his character racist, even though he is still just already racist anyway. Weird that. Interesting. Audio digital replacement. So there's immediate contrast with Worf leaving. Geordi and the Romulan, they're getting along well. They're slapping each other on the ass. They're like, yeah, you're so smart. You're such a good engineer.
Oh, you gotta be my girlfriend.
You want another Coco Nono?
She'd love you. You gotta try her fungili sometimes. It's gonna blow you away.
She doesn't. You wouldn't know her. She goes to a different school.
She lives in Canada. Space Canada.
Space Canada.
The Romulan ship is here, and they have to tell the Mr. Tomalak that the Romulan died, and now they're about to have a fight. But Geordi and the Romulan, they made it to the beacon. They're signaling up, and they try to tell the other ship, but they're not answering. So Picard goes into Picard speech mode. Whenever the shit hits the fan, have Picard do
time to monologue.
It's gonna make it all better.
He straight up says to Riker, put on your poker face. And Riker has a much better poker face than I think anyone on the ship, in like the worst of circumstances. I don't know why he even has to say that, you know?
It's true.
He emotes so little that his poker face is perfect.
Yeah.
His face literally transforms into stone.
Yeah, he has the same face all the time. He's always horny.
That's my secret. If they drop the shields to beam Geordi and the Romulan up, the other ship can kill them. And Picard outlines the stakes very clearly, because this would mean war. Remember, guys, if you kill us, I know we're giving you a great opportunity to kill us, but remember, this means war. War is bad. Don't do any war here. So you know someone's got to be the first person to do trust. It'll be me. I'm dropping my shields. We're beaming up the motherfucker. And look at that. It works. It's a great. I'm talking about it a little jokily here, but it's a good speech. It's a good Picard speech.
It is a very good moment.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, he's just doing a hell of a bluff there because he doesn't actually know if they got a Romulan down there or not.
Yeah, and I would not trust the Federation to like go to war over like a war crime, considering the Romulans seem to do war crimes against the Federation like all the
Pretty much
time.
Constantly, yeah.
Okay, pretty much on like a monthly basis, the Romulans do something really fucked up. Like they try to trick they try to trick some guy into luring the Enterprise into the neutral zone to blow him up, but no, don't worry. The Romulans are just very shrewd negotiators, and anytime they're negotiating any kind of treaty, you just have to lay down everything, just give them everything they want, and then never answer their provocation. So the Romulans could have probably just killed him here, but hey, you know, Tom Lock's a good guy at the end, you know, until he's luring, until that other thing.
Did we ever learn what the fuck they were doing down there? Did they ever come back to that?
They were bimifying themselves.
We
They were getting bimbified, yeah.
It's time for another nicotine fun fact. It's time for another nicotine fun fact. I got a fun fact for you. It's a fun one. You guys remember Troy? Remember that character, Troy?
Oh yes, Troy,
Troy?
The psychic.
The psychic character. You guys remember the psychic character who had one line in this movie in this episode that would have been like very good to have a psychic in?
She got paid.
Okay, so this is the fun fact. Mariana Sirtis, the actress, saw this as an excellent opportunity to develop her character, because historically she felt as though her character was like underutilized, right? So she, in an interview, she said in the original draft that she got to read, that she wasn't allowed to read so that they don't like have conversations like this. It was Troy and Geordi who were stranded on the planet because Geordi was blinded by the electromagnetics and his visor wasn't working. And so it was her and Geordi that come across the Romulan. And it was actually Troy who incapacitates him. And so Mariana Sirtis was like so stoked about this. She's like, yes, I finally get an action sequence. I finally get a chance to like prove my character.
That would have been sick.
That would have been really good.
By the way, a couple of seasons ago, the writers were gonna make Troy like a sex object with 3 boobs. That was a legitimate thing that they were putting forth. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give Troy 3 boobs when we introduce her. So she like fought back against
Gene Roddenberry.
So she's like, okay, finally I get to like prove how useful my character is and how I can develop my character. But then they cut that part. And it's just but the real kicker out of all of this was the last part of this interview. She's like, that's the kind of thing that just happens, and I wish it wouldn't, implying that like it happened a bunch on this show.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'm getting information here. I'm just hearing it now. Originally, Patak. Wait, his name's Patak?
Yeah, his name's Patak. Yeah.
Isn't that the? Wait, for those non-horrifying nerds in the audience, Patak is a common like Klingon slur that means, I don't know, like idiot or something. Like it's like an ableist slur, I suppose. Apparently he was going to survive, and the writers were trying to come up with a valid reason for Worf to save his life, but then I'm sorry. I only read the word Michael. It's Michael Pillar convinced them that it would be in accordance with. I thought it was Michael. I thought it said Michael Doran. And I was like, Worf convinced them not to let Worf be racist, but no, it was another writer.
I was right.
I
was right.
They had to prevent the opportunity for the worst case scenario, which is woke Worf.
You know, and a capable woman accomplice.
Yeah, he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up on the bridge. He's gonna have a Palestinian flag and a trans flag. If you let him, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So we have to keep Worf racist to have like the interesting character.
We must
although we may have
Worf gap.
We can't let Worf get pushed too far, otherwise we can't let Worf like explore his character, otherwise he's going to just get real woke with it.
Yeah.
we cannot have that.
We can't do it.
Michael Doran's politics, I wonder. I'm not aware of this. Probably fine.
Worf is talking about Planet Back. Worf is talking about it.
Yeah. from the pulsar
Nah,
to
you're giving
to the
this way
nebula.
too much credit. If Worf was gonna like go down like a leftist pipeline, he would probably become a trot. Like he would just be a Trotskyist. Like he'd
Oh
be
my
handing
God.
out, like he would
He'd be
just
handing out literature.
yeah, he'd be handing out pamphlets and shit.
He would be working for Galactic Socialist website.
Yeah.
in my experience with people handing out pamphlets, Worf would be a hotep.
Oh,
I guess
Jesus.
Worf kind of is a hotep actually. Oh my, Worf and oh my, Kanye West is Worf. Worf is Kanye West. They have the same arc. Oh my God, it makes so much sense now.
Oh, stop.
Am I cutting that? Maybe I'll cut that.
All the strings in Eric's room going across from pictures of Worf to pictures of Worf.
Kanye.
Kanye question mark scrawled on the wall.
Worf in the weird Roblox costume.
Damn it! Now I can't cut it. Fuck. The Romulan ship is here. Oh wait, no, I already did this. Yeah, Picard's doing a monologue, and it works. And then they beam him up. They don't die. Worf and the Romulan, Geordi and the Romulan are beat the hell up. They are just full on, and we know why Brett Spider wasn't down there, because that makeup would have been like all the makeup that he wears, and they also have to make him like beat up with like caked with mud. They look real fucked up in this one. Like, you kind of can't tell because on the planet's so shitty, but the moment they're on that clean like TNG bridge, it's like, oh God, you guys got wrecked down there.
Sand in their shoes, am I right?
There's sand in my shoes. My central nervous system has been 95% disintegrated. Like I'm barely even a person anymore.
Oh my God.
Like, all right, this is apparently something very easy to fix with modern technology, but
yeah, yeah, seriously. But then they're like, hey, the situation has been successfully de-escalated. They do, and then they do some after some reassurances, they do some, Picard and Tomlin get some light sparring in, little verbal foreplay here, and but hey, they practice de-escalation in the Federation. Look at that. Closing line: brinksmanship is a dangerous game. Da, 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 da.
And
Hey.
no discussion of returning the remains of the other officer.
Yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Just beam
yeah.
into space.
Yeah, don't worry, he's dead. We don't give a shit.
Why is he full of Klingon blood, Captain?
Worf avoided a war by not giving him Klingon blood, because they had returned the guy and he had Klingon blood in it. That would have been even worse than him dying. If it was worse to him, it would have been worse to all of them. He would have had to be sterilized because now he could contain.
They would have ate him alive. They would have just ate him like a pack of wolves.
I think the guy they sent back probably got sent to Gulag immediately. I mean,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was
Sent to
killed.
Remus or whatever, the moon.
Yeah, to go mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Tom, it's like, wait, are you Tom Hardy?
It's like, damn, you gave a Federation guy the time of day. Sorry, go to Gulag.
Because honestly, like not only is there that, like, he failed his mission. Authoritarian governments do not typically. I mean, it depends on who your daddy is, I suppose, in regimes like that. But
He failed his mission. If you don't come back as a bimbo, you will go to Gulag.
He did not complete the classic Romulan rite of passage, being bimbofied before his 30th birthday, and so he's gonna be exterminated. The sequel to this is in the style of Running Man, where he's trying to defect back to the Federation before they can kill him for not being bimbofied. Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, that's the closing. That's the end of the episode. Zots? Out of I didn't have time to think about this. Zots, out of 1,000 lives saved by the end of brinksmanship, how would you rate this episode?
I don't know, like 600.
All right, yeah, that's fair. So, but I'm curious, Thoughts. Did you like? This is, in my opinion, a classic TNG episode. I'm sorry, I'm putting the cart before the horse here. Zots, did you like this episode very, very much? Or what did you not like about it? Give me your thoughts. Give me your Zots thoughts.
Zot thoughts.
Zathons. I don't.
That's the logo landing.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't have thoughts. All right, we
No thoughts but
established this.
empty.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
I have a himbo hat.
That's fair. I'm sorry.
Too much time on the planet. That'll do it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the episode was fine. There was like they were trying to say something. I guess I don't know. It's
because when I think of
it was better than the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, that's why I that's one of the reasons why I was like, we had Justin on for an awful episode. What was the last one we had you on for? I forgot. Do you remember?
Oh, they're drinking.
I'm sorry. I got caught in the middle of taking a swig of the conversational liqueur. Yeah, in case of left trek, break glass. It's just a big thing of bourbon.
Just had a hamster water bottle, with the little ball bearing at the bottom. Right by the desk. Easy access.
Good idea.
So I don't remember what the last one we had you on for, but I was like, we gotta bring donoteat back on for the next good upcoming episode of.
Hold on, it was what was it? It was not a good episode. It was
I remember
Shades of Grey. Which I forget what happened on that.
I don't even remember that episode. Shades of Grey?
Shades of Grey.
No, it was I think it was a clip show.
Oh my god, yeah, that's why I don't remember. We had you on for that.
That was the one where Riker's on the table dying, and they have chopsticks at his fucking eyeballs or something like that.
The top thing in the Wikipedia says. It says this episode was intended to save money at the end of the season by being a bottle episode.
Yeah, because there was a writer's strike.
Few characters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason I couldn't remember it, is because there wasn't, nothing happened. Riker got bit by, we had you on for the worst episode I could possibly bring a guest on, and so I was like, all right, we gotta bring Justin on for a good one next time. It's better treatment than we've given a Tristan of Setback History. I think we've only watched just crap with them. Thoughts Live too, actually, now that I think about it. No. We did Who Watches the Watchers with Thoughts Live. Okay. Well, that one didn't end up being as good as we all remembered either. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, this is a real classic. It's interesting. I'm interested to hear is after seeing like 2 1/4 seasons of this show. Does this strike you as of significantly higher quality, or does this strike you as just average at this point?
Oh, this show is extremely mediocre. I
mean this episode in particular.
Oh, I thought you were talking about TNG as a whole. This is one of those things where it's just I don't understand. I guess I don't know. But anyways, this within this space, yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. I gave it a 60%. What more do you want?
No. It's just that this is such a class. Since you're a neophyte to the whole the Star Trek thing, this is one of the we've had good episodes, and we've had episodes that feel like TNG episodes, but this is the most TNG fueling episode to me for a lot of reasons that are tangible and intangible.
The best part about the whole thing is that if you were to compare it to Measure of a Man, right? Measure of a Man was insufferable to fucking sit through because it was trying so hard to say a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And this one was just happening. It was just some stuff, just and that's fine. That's totally okay. You can just do that. Things can just like happen organically around it, you know? Like this, you don't have to like try to force a message. You don't have to try to like force things to happen in your fucking show. And yeah, like I don't know, it was fine. It was good enough.
I think also the fact that like we watched the Survivors, a great episode that we loved, and Who Watches the Watchers is also interesting, and this one is like less like philosophically interesting than either of those, but it's very like, you know, like it's very like sci-fi. It's very like classic sci-fi, I guess, is what this episode feels like to me. I'm sort of hung up on it. I don't know why. I kind of liked it. We'll get to my rating in a second. Nikatine.
Hi.
Please, out of a total of one successfully bimbified Romulans. How would you rate this episode? Out of 1.
I think I would rate this episode 10 out of 10 failed bloodline experiments.
Oh, thank you.
10 out of 10 failed eugenics experiments. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, there's a Voyager episode. I talk about this Voyager. I think I talked about it on the last episode I was on, last Left Trek.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Voyager episode. I think it's called Jetrel. And it's really, really similar in that the character, if you've seen Voyager at all, the character Neelix, there's like some backstory where Neelix meets Space Oppenheimer, who likes space Hiroshima at his planet. And there's like a whole plot line about how Neelix is the only one who can like help this guy out because he's got some degenerative illness, and Neelix is like the only one who can save Space Oppenheimer who like genocided his planet. And the way that Voyager plays it is they play it straight, right? Like you know that at the end of the episode, Neelix is gonna come around and they're gonna have a thing, and they're gonna play it straight, right? Like the way that television ought to play it, right? The way that Michael Dorn wanted to play this episode. But I feel like it doesn't come across as sincere as this episode does, because the episode in Voyager, it feels almost like apologetic. It feels like an apologist episode, because the Oppenheimer character apologizes on his deathbed to Neelix, and Neelix is like, I forgive you, just like, you know, just like Americans would want to hear, you know. And it comes across as very saccharine and very television-y. But this episode, to me, the conflict that the Klingon is feeling towards this Romulan, these people, and like as far as Worf's specific character goes, sure. I mean, yeah, does it make a lot of sense? Maybe not. But I think that at the end of the day, the conflict of a Klingon not wanting to come around to helping like a guy who like hates his guts and like doesn't want his help. I think it feels very genuine to me. Like it feels very real in a way that Voyager episode just doesn't. And so I think that it's a good moment. I do think it's a good moment. And I think that it creates a lot of conflict for the show moving forward, which is great for television. I love when there's conflict and stuff. That's not like outright shooty war conflict. It's just like emotional conflict. I think that's really important for shows like this. This is the type of show that really thrives with emotional conflict. And furthermore, this is one of the only episodes we get to see Geordi being super friggin' cool, dude. He like he forges a thing, climbs out of the thing, and makes friends with a Romulan. Like this is a Geordi episode, like first and foremost, and he's
badass
awesome.
Geordi episode.
So like
100%.
When I think about my favorite episodes of Star Trek, of TNG, this is absolutely one of the ones that comes to mind. So I give this one. This is a 10 out of 10 failed genetics experiments for me.
What, Nika? What a clear, coherent, and insightful commentary about this episode.
Nika, thanks for giving Eric the answer he wanted.
Excuse me. Unfortunately, Nika, you're wrong. That Voyager episode is not about the guy needing Neelix's blood. He seeks him out because Neelix, it has some sort of degenerative disease, because he was one of the first responders after his planet was spaced 9/11.
I'm gonna do the anime Uno card, but actually the twist is that the guy the Space Oppenheimer, has the degenerative illness and needs Neelix.
Indeed. but you say, yeah, spiritually you're definitely right about the the point of the episode, because but I actually think that the drama, I like that episode, by the way. The drama in that episode,
it's a fine episode,
is I think is more interesting than the relationship between like Worf and this Romulan. Now, of course, that's not the focus of this episode.
Right. This is the B plot for this episode on TNG, but it's the main plot for that episode on Voyager.
Yeah, and I'm gonna in rare defense of Voyager, I hate Voyager. I think it's
I like Voyager. It's fine.
It's more similar to Starship Troopers than it is to Star Trek.
I'm doing my part. Would you like to learn more?
Yeah, the Captain Janeway, like starring in those kind of advertisements. She's I'll never forget, never forgive, never forget Captain Janeway
never forget Buenos Aires. Okay, never.
Janeway's got species 69-420. She's like, aim for the central nervous system and put it down for good.
Everyone will always remember, permanent scar on Star Trek fandom for all time. Janeway with her jackbooted thugs marching Tuvix down to be executed by the state. Rest in peace, Tuvix. I'll never forget you. It's Justin. Out of oh yeah, I wasn't thinking about this either. Shit, I'm usually so quick with these. Fuck. Out of 2 improvised ice picks, carved out of, forged from metal found in the earth and lifted upon the glorious triceps of Geordi LaForge. How would you rate this episode?
I gotta give it 2. I thought it was really good. I was kind of like, there were some aspects of it where I was like, I feel like that this situation could have been de-escalated more quickly, but I think in terms of the writing, it was very good. I think as much as what's his name, the guy who plays Michael Dorn, wanted to be a kinder, gentler sort of Worf. At that period of time, the world could not abide a woke Worf. You needed that. You needed that to develop over several more seasons. Now, the fact that we did not eventually get a woke Worf, I think, is a bad situation.
Yeah, bad decision.
You know, the world would be a better place. Yeah, the world would be a better place if Worf got woke eventually, but that did not happen. But I don't think it would have been a better place if this were the episode where we had woke Worf.
It's true. Yeah. He, instead of becoming woke Worf, he becomes like a Nazi bureaucrat. Like he's the government. He's literally. I mean, in all good things, he's like the governor of this. Of a sector in the Klingon Empire. It's like, well, he's like the overseer of like Romania. You know,
he's fucking Ceausescu.
Yeah. So that was the real arc for. Of course, that was also regarding another jilted lover in the form of Diana Troy. Man, Worf cannot get. I feel bad for Worf.
I think this could have been like the sort of some kind of the start of an arc towards woke Worf. They could have made a decision there where like he agreed, and then the Romulan died immediately. You know, and then something would have happened there. But, you know, again, there was a different way this could have gone. I haven't watched much of the show. But
well, because there is an episode where Worf does become better friends with Romulans later on, and there's even like a, you know, like vile species intermixing, and Worf sees like a half Klingon, half Romulan instead, and is like, oh my god, I was sexually attracted to you, and starts throwing up. But that would have been a part of this hypothetical arc here, and I think that and even that suggestion is making me like I'm coming all the way back around on Worf. Now I like pity Worf's writing. I wish Worf was written better, but he's constrained by like being a Klingon. That's like so much of like his written identity that they can't really like see past it to do a lot of like interesting things with him. So that sucks. Like Troy, a lot of these characters are victims of bad writing. Troy, Worf, and Geordi sometimes. Like I hate that Geordi is also creepy Geordi. Like that hurts me genuinely, because Geordi
that guy should know enough
character.
about how the holodeck works to not be sexually attracted to it.
Yeah, he works with computers so much. You think that he wouldn't fall in love with an AI, but hey, there you go. Someone give me a rating.
Okay, out of 12 kissed boo-boos in the medical bay, what do you rate this episode?
I'll give it a 10 leeches out of 12 here on this one. Taking off 2 points there because not a perfect episode. I'm having seen so many episodes of Star Trek and rewatching them. I get an appreciation for certain episodes, and there's some that are just like the creme de la creme, the all timers. That's my like highest slot. This is like a B plus, a strong B plus, maybe even arguably an A minus once you start grading on a curve. But a B plus. It's not perfect. The stuff with Worf feels weird, you know. There's also the fact that we could have gotten an even better episode with Troy being a badass.
Yes.
Like that would have been my 10 out of 10. But sorry, that would have been my 12 out of 12. But for now, it's just a 10 out of 12. Good, quite good, worth watching, worth rewatching. If you're one of those people that are following along with Left Trek, not an all-timer. Better done in the movie Enemy Mine. Who here's seen Enemy Mine?
Nope.
No.
No one? No one? Even Nikatine? Really?
Oh, that sounds really familiar.
Oh, it's basically just this episode. Like a guy is on a planet and he's and with a weird alien, and they gotta survive. And it's
I know this episode because there's an episode of Enterprise where they do the exact same plot of Enemy Mine, and in that episode there was like a ton of controversy when it came out because it's basically the same plot. That's the only reason I know about this episode, because they do the exact same thing in Enterprise. Right, with the British guy, the British Section 3069 officer.
Malcolm.
Yeah, they do the exact same episode with Malcolm, don't they? Or Trip?
They do.
One of them?
No, they do. There's one with Trip, where he was on a planet with a Gorn, and that's somewhat similar. I don't like that controversy. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that controversy. I don't think that's similar enough. Yeah, he's on the planet with the Gorn because what that's referencing, and what that's in reference to is the classic Gorn episode from the original series, and it's not similar to that because they're not fighting because of like a god. They're fighting because they crash landed on the same planet. So, but even that is more similar to this episode than it is similar to Enemy Mine. But this episode is also similar. The point is, go watch Enemy Mine. It's a pretty good movie. If you like watching like good sci-fi episode, good little sci-fi movies, go ahead and watch Enemy Mine.
I just looked it up. It's Trip. The episode is called Dawn from Star Trek Enterprise. It's the 39th episode. I know this is the one.
I know everything about Enterprise. He's trapped with the Gorn, and they're shooting
Season
each
2,
other.
episode 13.
And the reason it's called Dawn is because the Gorn is cold-blooded, so they have to get to the.
He's not
They
Gorn.
have to
He's
save him.
Arconian. He's not Gorn. He's Arconian.
Oh, was he not a Gorn?
Arconian.
I was trying to be all superior. I didn't even know.
I have the Wikipedia page up. I will always win, win a nerd fight.
Fuck. They do have a Gorn in Enterprise.
They do for a second. It's a CGI Gorn in the mirror universe.
Oh God, the great two.
Dr. Mangala Phlox is experimenting on him, right?
One of the best two-parters in all of Star Trek. Not just one of the best episodes of the Enterprise. One of the best two-parters in a contender for
very good
all-timer.
episode.
It's a two-parter too. It's great.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh, good.
It is
Archer,
legit very good.
Yeah, Archer is like having like paranoid delusions, and then Hoshi ends up becoming. That's right. That's a spoiler. hey, go watch that episode of Enterprise. So yeah, that was the enemy. That was not enemy mine. That was the enemy. Enemy mine. They put a mine at the end of the movie because the producers felt like the audience would be confused if it was called Enemy Mine and there wasn't a mine in it. That's real. That's a real story. Check out the Red Letter Media coverage of that movie. If you like watching video essays about content instead of the actual content, go check out Red Letter Media's coverage of Enemy Mine. It's a good little video. Closing thoughts on the enemy. Anything you want to close on here? Any more notes?
I just was imagining the woke Worf arc and at what point he would show up to a Free Palestine protest in the ferries. Because I was just going through the Wikipedia article. He is in Star Trek Picard. Maybe the issue has been resolved by then. I don't know.
He's in Picard season 3, and I don't remember how woke he is in it. Because season 3 is genuinely good. It's about there's a changeling in it, and it's about the Federation's still doing like weird evil experiments, classic for like new Trek stuff, but it's kind of like revenge. It's a lot. It takes a lot of cues from like Wrath of Khan and stuff. But Worf is just in his element. I just remember Worf being back in his element. I don't remember him being woke or not. So
Worf has to do Worf stuff. That's the real thing. I mean, that's just what you have to do as Worf. You got to be Worf.
You can't be anything but Worf when you're Worf. That means you're racist, you're a fascist, you're a misogynist, you're an abusive husband and boyfriend. You're just one of the biggest assholes on the planet. You're a reactionary for a culture that you're not even part of. Worf is like the equivalent of the leftists online that are like really into Russia or like really into Putin specifically. Worf, instead of woke Worf, we got tanky Worf.
I just want you to look at these websites, Captain.
Worf's Twitter handle with 45 flags.
I've run the numbers, Captain.
Well, fuck. That's left. I'm sorry. I shouldn't swear when we're leaving. Well, heck, that sure is Left Trek, folks. Tune in next time for. I didn't bother to look at what the episode was gonna be. Any plugs?
Islis. Come check out Islis. We're the last 3 episodes of Islis, starting soon, every Friday at noon Pacific at twitch.tv/fablescraps. It's a brand new TTRPG. If you're sick of Dungeons and Dragons and you want something new that's not D&D, come check out Islis. It's a grimdark steampunk adventure with a brand new system. So check it out. We do a live show on Twitch.
Don't bother with the Pathfinder 2 re-release. It's just more of the same stuff. If you didn't like the system, you're still not going to like the system. Go check out Islis. It's a whole new thing on a whole new system.
We had a really good episode today too. It was very, very good.
I caught part of it. It was
very fun. The cell is getting it's about monsters. It's about humanity having tried to invade a place 1,000 years ago, but they failed, and so now they're just part of this state run by several different species of monsters who use humans in different ways. And right now we're in one of the places called the Plate Lands, where these massive spider creatures kind of control everything. and we finally get to see like some of the atrocities, and it's getting good. It's getting good and dark. I'm really excited.
Isn't that
about
a cool concept, folks? Go check it out. Go check out Islis. We were supposed. I guess we did sort of already do plugs because the one of the chief things about this podcast, one of the chief innovations was like we do our plugs at the end, not at the beginning, or was it the other way around? What's normal? I forgot. But now we do both. Now we just do it both because I just forget.
Yes.
This podcast sucks. Tune in next time. But we've got a Troy episode.
I also have to do a plug.
Please.
Yes. Listen to Well, There's Your Problem podcast. Subscribe to it so we get the second plaque. We got the first one. We got to get the second one. So you should subscribe and then tell every subscriber and 9 of their friends to subscribe so we can get the second plaque. That's all I have to say.
Telling 2 friends and then telling 2 friends, that's too slow. Tell 9 friends.
Tell 9 friends. Do you have 9 friends? I can't imagine anyone having that many friends.
You have to. If you don't have 9 friends, you're gonna have to just press gang your family into supporting.
Go out on the street and tell people to listen to Well, There's Your Problem podcast. It's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides. It's on YouTube. Look it up.
Poorly Xerox some flyers and hand them out on the town square.
Yeah, you could send faxes to people. You could send you could go to Western Union and send a telegram.
Telegram.
Yeah, you could like maybe you could hire an autogyro to carry a banner behind it. You could maybe build a blimp. I don't know.
Yeah, get a dirigible. Paint the title of the podcast on the side. Just drive it around LA until you inevitably explode because you filled it with hydrogen. Why would you fill it with hydrogen? It's flammable. You're gonna die.
That's what they want the cars to run on now, apparently, for some reason.
I was about to talk about my favorite dirigible story. We should probably end the podcast before we hit the 2-hour mark. That's Left Trek, folks. Bye.